and we're going to have an exciting chat today about mediumship. Okay, hold on. Let's wait for Melissa. Hold on one second. Hold on. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. I do have a guest. I'm waiting for Melissa Leith to join. So, meanwhile, welcome everybody. And the topic for today is Morning with the Mediums. Hi, Z. Hi, Sloan. Kay. Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the hearts, Andrew. Okay. All right. I'm waiting for the other medium to join. So until she gets here, just hold on one second. Oh, by the way, since we are talking about mediumship today, um, have your questions ready. Good. You're looking amazing. Z, I need you for my ego every day. It's amazing what lipstick does. All right, guys, hold on one second. All right. All right. Well, I don't know where she is, but she should be here any second. All right. So, meanwhile, the topic of conversation is mediumship, and it's going to be morning with the mediums as soon as Melissa gets here. So, anyway, I'm going to dive in deeply about mediumship and a lot of the how tos, like how to connect with spirit, how to deal with spirit people. Who are we talking to we when we do mediumship readings? I mean, sometimes we think we're talking to a spirit person, and it turns out perhaps we're not. All right, so I don't know where my co-host went, but she. Let me see if there's a way I can get a link here to her. Hold on one second, guys. All right, I don't know. All right, so anyway, until she's here, if you have any questions about mediumship, um, go ahead and put them in the comments. All right. So I posted on my profile page earlier today about this book. So you want to be a medium, and that was my very first book that I kind of looked into as I was I've always been a medium, but really diving deeply into mediumship. Hi, Rosefield. Hello. And it's a simple book, but it really answers a lot of questions, and it has some exercises in the book to enhance your senses. Hi, Epic Mercury. Hello. We're talking about mediumship today, and my co-host is MIA. Melissa Leith. I don't know where she went. Hopefully, she'll pop in soon. Not quite sure. Okay. So anyway, mediumship it is, and how does mediumship work? It's a strange thing. One of the questions that was asked of me is, when did you know you were a medium? Um, and it's just so odd because it's just always the way I've been. Now, eventually, when I started seeing people who are no longer alive and having these experiences, I'm like, this is a little different than what everybody else is experiencing. And you know what? My whole entire life since 10 years old has been so unique that I just roll with it. And at 10 years old, I came really close to death when I had a really bad case of measles. I mean, I was out of school for 2 months and high fevers. And I think when I had that high fever, it kind of activated something in my brain that led me to this path. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, so the mediumship started unfolding, and it came in hot and heavy. Just all of a sudden I just started seeing spirit people and angels and all kinds of things like a lot of other people weren't seeing. And there's nowhere to turn. There's no place to say, "Hey, I'm seeing spirit people and angels and all kinds of weird things. Who can help me?" Nobody, nobody. Well, I mean, you could turn to your angels, your guides, and you know, um, spiritual, a spiritual sense. But it's sure nice to have a physical person to help you figure out what's going on. I mean, I took a lot of classes and certifications and a lot of the stuff to help me understand mediumship better, and it really really helped me a lot. I had a mentor in the UK. I think he's in Canada now, but um, he really helped me with when you're connecting with a spirit person to help. How do we pull out the evidence uh, in a reading, because you just can't say, "Oh, your loved ones are with you and they love you very much." That's not a reading, but you have to really dig deep. And I'm an evidential medium, which means that, when I do a reading, I will pull out some type of little tidbit of evidence that only you and the spirit person will know, which is very important, very important in reading. Rosefield says she understands. Again, welcome everybody. If you have questions about mediumship, how it works, just let me know. And again, I'm waiting for my co-host. I don't know where she went. It's Melissa. I can't seem to get permission to that mic and audio. Oh no, she says. It's a computer thing. Uh-oh. Oh well, she's having technical difficulties, which is unfortunate because she is a teacher of mediumship, which I didn't know until like about 15 minutes ago, and I teach mediumship as well. Um, let's see, Rosefield Harmonics says, I get random hits, but I still question what lens is coming from even after I ask for clarity. Um, Learning to trust has been my biggest hurdle. Um, Rose, I'm telling you what though, trust is probably in all the classes that I taught, the number one issue of mediumship. I mean, you see all these images and you have all these sensations as you're, doing a reading and connecting with a spirit person. How do you know what you see in your mind is is an actual spirit connection? And I will say this from experience. You're not going to know unless you just go for it and say what you see, say what you feel. For example, over the years, I would randomly get names. Uh, I would randomly get names, and I'm like, that's interesting. And I wouldn't say it to my client, and then like in my mind, I see the name Kathy, and I wouldn't say anything because at that point, years ago, I didn't trust myself. Then I find out the spirit person's name is Kathy. So what I found out is just when you're connected with spirit, just keep talking, and the more you speak, and the more you talk with the spirit person, the more the information will come in. And it's also better to say something and be wrong than not to say anything at all and be right. All right. Yeah. So trust is a really, really big, is a really big issue of just learning how to step into. And this is why I keep talking about sharpening your senses, the clairs, because when your senses are razor sharp, that's when you learn to trust yourself. Okay, let's see. We have a bunch of people. Welcome and comments. Z says, "How do I know if I'm a medium?" Well, mediums speak to people who are no longer alive. Simply put, and once you speak to or have an experience with, I mean, I think on a small level, we all are. mediums. I mean, we see our past loved ones in our dreams. They're in our thoughts, and if they appear in our thoughts randomly, then that consider that a spirit connection. But to be an actual medium, Z, is when you have a connection with a spirit person. I don't like to say dead people because that's disrespectful. I will always say spirit people. At least I try to. And have a conversation with these spirit people. You know, there's one thing to be a psychic and you get all these, senses in and feelings and whatnot. But unless you actually connect to the spirit realm, that will make you a medium. You could be a medium, you could be a psychic, and then some people are psychic mediums. So I hope that answers your question, Z. Thank you. All right. Stefan, welcome. Can't you just rely on a message? Um, Not sure what that means. Maybe you would like to rephrase that, Stefan. All right. Okay. So I guess my sidekick Melissa is not joining. She's having technical difficulties. So that's unfortunate. Going to have to reschedule with her at a different time because I really like to speak with other mediums, and I really like the topic of this live morning with the mediums. So, I mean, this is just the first time that she and I were to go do live, and I don't think she has experience with going live, so it's a learning curve for her. So we'll try again next Thursday, okay? If we're both available next Thursday. But usually I do these lives on Thursday. All right. So does anybody else have questions about mediumship? Okay. While you're doing that, let me go into um, how to prepare for mediumship reading. Now, these are things that I talk about in classes that I teach. So I mean, there's so much to learn, yet it's very simple. It's what I call natural mediumship because I truly believe that on many levels, we all are psychics and mediums. It's not a special, woo-woo gift or anything like that. So, you know, years ago, oh, hold on one second. The birds are making a big commotion outside. It's really loud. I might have to shut that window. Anyway, years ago, oh, you're welcome, Z. Alexi says, is your version mediumship comes from traditional cultures? Not sure what that means. Mediumship is mediumship, connecting to the other side. Uh, like anything else, other cultures will have a different approach to many things. I don't know what other cultures do. I just know how I, conduct my own mediumship. Yeah. So, I mean, years ago gosh, decades ago, when I really started going into mediumship and reading the books and all this stuff, even though it was natural to me and it's been part of me all along. I was going by the book. I'm like, oh, this person, doesn't eat meat the day before, doesn't have a drink the day before, wears white and puts special candles on and certain crystals and all this stuff. And I actually did that for a while, thinking that's the way, you get into a mediumship reading. Until one day, I didn't have time to do all that. I had a client had contacted me, and she said, "I need a reading fast." I'm like, "Okay, well, here's my PayPal link, and let me know what your question is, and pick a time." She's like, "No, now." I'm like, "Now?" She's like, "Yeah, I have 15 minutes before whatever her issue was." I'm like, "Hey, whatever." So I'm like, I sent her a quick link to PayPal, whatever my charge was at the time. And once I do that, that gives me permission to do a reading because I'm not one of those people that just do free readings. I feel mediumship is very sacred, and it is a gift on some level, but I just have high respect for mediumship. So, you'll probably, I mean, I'll do chakra readings, card readings, at one point or another here on Substack, but I will never do a mediumship reading only because, like I said, I take it very, personal, and it's a sacred, event between the spirit world and, a client and myself. So, um, all right. So, yeah. So anyway, so this client calls me up and says, I need a reading fast. And I said, sure. And this is a great way to learn about trust. We were talking about trust earlier, yeah, going all in. And I said, you know what? I'm just trusting myself, trusting the spirit world, and I'm doing this because I signed up for this. This is the path that I chose. So long story short, did her reading. Of course, being clairvoyant, I had these visuals. So I sketched out what I saw, I explained it, and sent it sent it her way with a message. And I had like 10 minutes to spare on top of it all. And she said, wow, she goes, that really helped me a lot with the decision that she had to make. And after that was done, I'm like, wow, here I am back in the day doing all this preparation, all this woo-woo stuff, with wands and you know, certain jewelry you have to wear, all these special things. And here I am, I did a reading that was nailed in 5 minutes. That's how you build your trust, by just doing, watching it unfold, and then it comes out perfectly. Okay. So, hey, hello. When did you first know you were connected to spirit? Well, again, my entire life, I'm trying to recall my very first uh, spirit connection was actually from an ascended master, which is highly unusual. Highly unusual. Um, Again, I mean, a lot of mediums say, oh, they always saw people when they were younger, and they talked to people who have passed, and they had imaginary friends. I never had any of that. I was just a normal kid, again, until I hit 10 years old, and had what I call a near death experience, because I was really sick, really sick. And I remember I meditated one day and stepped into that experience, and I said, "What what was that all about? Why did I get the measles so bad that I almost died?" And then I heard, we had a choice. We had a choice to take you with us or to leave you here in the physical world and help others. I'm like, "Oh, well, thank you for leaving me here. As amazing as the spiritual world would have been, thank you for leaving me here and not, having me cross over to the pearly gate." So at that point, things really unraveled fast. And being 10 years old, 10 through my teens, through my late teens, through my early 20s, things just unfolded. Dream most It started with dreams. And this is how you can tell if you're a strong clairvoyant, by the type of um, visions that you have. If you have intense dreams where you see them in color, lucid dreaming, very detailed, then you are highly clairvoyant, because part of clairvoyance is being able to see. So whether you see in the physical world here, the dream world, or other realms, the ability to be able to see these weird things is a note that you're clairvoyant. All right. So I had mentioned that the ascended master was the first spirit person that I saw. And it was very unusual. I mean, my whole life is unusual, but it was very unusual where, I mean, back in the day, I mean, I was in my 20s, right before I got married. Um, in the Catholic Church, you had to take these classes, pre-Cana, I think they were called, so silly. But I mean, you took these classes to make sure that you were ready to get married, and that you knew your your potential partner and all that stuff. And anyway, so we took these classes, and it was a fairly large class, and a fairly long story short, the person, one of the people in the class, they were trying to um, start a family and couldn't. And this is a really big story. I actually have a chapter of it in my book, but I'm not going to go into it right now. But I'll briefly tell you what it's about. So she was trying. Her and her husband were trying to have a family, and they were not able to. So after that class was over, I had another dream. But when I woke up from this dream, when you're in that liminal space, and I love that space. It's that time and space between sleeping and being awake. That, at least for me, is where most of my um, woo woo, spooky stuff, spiritual stuff, whatever you want to call it, comes into play. So as I was awaking from this dream, I saw clear as day, again, clairvoyance, um, the face of what I believe to be Jesus or God. And he was talking to me. First of all, I'm lying in bed. I'm looking like, took my breath away. I'm like, how am I seeing the face of God so clearly in my room with my physical eye? No less, not my clairvoyant eye, with my physical eye. And I'm looking, was in my upper right corner. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, again, not hardly able to breathe. And I hear he delivered a message for me to give to the person in this class about trying to conceive. It didn't make sense to me, but it was not my point. As a medium, I'm in the middle. I'm the messenger. It is not my job to decipher what spirit says to relate to the other person, because I've heard some doozies, and to me, makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But it's not. Yeah, but that's okay. Um, I'm just the translator. So anyway, that was my very first experience as a medium, other than these crazy dreams and stuff. But to actually connect with the spirit realm, ascended master. I guess I was late 20s or so. All right, that was that was a wild experience, though, to see that. And that's not the first time that I saw ascended masters, which is super cool. All right, questions. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on, let's see. Alexi says, sitting at the feet of the master, if you scared, go to church. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not I mean, I know it's difficult to type messages in the comments, but I mean, was I afraid? No. The thing of it is, guys, with all Sloan says, thank you, you're welcome. With all of these experiences I have had, I am never afraid. Ever. And I've had some wild, wild experiences, crazy stuff. And no, I mean, I've been taken off guard, and sometimes I'm like, whoa, what was that? But no fear. So I don't know what that means to go to church. I don't believe in church. I am a pagan. I'm a Lithuanian pagan. So my church is nature and heart and connecting to that. I don't believe in the brick and mortar building to go to church and pray. All right. So Rosefield, yeah, the theta delta state is so yummy. It's very yummy. Oh my gosh. I have experiences in between that realm that I might share on my next live, because it is wild, it's intense, and I'm gonna write a note of it. I'm just gonna write a note between realms. Okay, all right. Um, Alexi says, "From wake to sleep imagery is hypnotic." Yeah, it's pretty cool. Z says, "What sign are you?" I'm Cancer. So I am a homebody, highly intuitive, as they say. What else do they say about Cancer? Obviously, into the water element, although I don't gravitate towards water. Um, that's a lie. I was born on an island, Long Island, New York, surrounded by water, but it was not my thing ever. I always wanted a log cabin in the woods, which I now have. I'll be retiring there in 1 year's time. But being born and raised around water, yet I love the water element that is found in the mountains. The mountains is is my my home, is my heart. The streams, the rivers, the creeks, the small lakes, the rain, the mist in the forest, the water droplets on the leaves. That's my water element. Okay, Z. So yes, I am Cancer. Sloan, how do you feel about Akashic record readings? Okay, that's an excellent question. Man, you guys bring up great questions, and I have intense stories about them, which would take me like an hour's time to talk about them. Akashic record readings. I do not believe in other people accessing your personal Akashic records. I don't believe that's their business to do that. I know people do a living doing that, but we have access to our own records. Somebody else should tap into that sacred private place and read it for you. I'll tell you why. Because one day, I mean, again, this is years ago. I'm like, okay, let me tap into the Akashic records. Everybody's talking about it, so I'm going to do it. I'm not going to pay somebody to do a reading for me because that's silly. I truly believe that we all should um, go within first to get answers. I mean, yeah, it's nice to go out and get readings. If you're not a medium and you want a mediumship reading, that's fine. Uh, but anyway, going back to the Akashic records, I sat on my bed one day, and this is how easy this stuff is, guys. It's not like it's rocket science. I sat on the bed and I closed my eyes, and all I said was, "Angel, angel, angel," just to call in the angels, which are already around me because I invite them to be around me every day. So I know they're always around me. It's not a thing of protection. It's because they just feel good. They just feel good. So I'm sitting there on my bed, and I said, "Angel, angel, angel," tapping into my own Akashic records of the future. Show me what my path is for the next 5 years. Boom. That's all I did. Again, with my clairvoyant eye, I saw a logo. At the time, I had a blog called Angel Hug 234. It doesn't exist anymore, so don't bother looking for it because you'll find a lot of broken links. But the really cool story behind that blog as well. So anyway, it was I actually did a painting of it. I'm not sure where that painting is. I think I wrote about it on my publication, so go take a look there. So I saw my logo, but in black and white. And then all of a sudden the logo had wings and it flew away. You know, telling you guys, life would be so much easier if instead of seeing all these images and having to be a detective to figure it out, if spirit would just say, "Well, Donna," I mean, that happens sometimes, a lot of times in mediumship readings where the spirit person would actually talk in my ear, makes like very easy for me. But in the case of the Akashic record, to answer your question, Sloan, that once I saw this image of a black and white, my logo with wings, I opened up my eyes. I'm like, great. Well, what does that mean? I had nobody to ask but myself. So I closed my eyes and I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And then my claircognizance, or smarty pants clair, as I call it, the clair of knowing, kicked in, and it said, within the next 5 years, your business, your Angel Hug business, which is my mediumship and classes and all that stuff, will do well. Which is why it had wings and it was soaring. But I'm like, why is it in black and white? Kind of, I felt like it was kind of a joke for spirit to show me something in black and white when I'm all about color. So And it came true. I mean, my blog just went nuts. Let me quickly say what Angel Hug 234 was about. I had this really cool blog called Coffee and Bacon because everybody likes coffee, everybody likes bacon, and I was going to show my paintings and, some BS there. So one morning it was 2:34 a.m. and I was awoken. And I'm like, "Ooh, okay. What's going on here?" And I heard, "Get rid of your blog." And I'm like, What, coffee and bacon? Get rid of your blog and start another one." I'm like, "Okay, first of all, who am I talking to?" And I had to go through all the Claires, and it felt safe to proceed. So I'm like, "What do you mean get rid of my blog and start another one?" Then I heard start a blog called Angel Hug 234 because your contact is 2:34 in the morning. I'm like, "No, wait a minute. I don't care if you're an angel or God himself. Why would I do that? I like my coffee and bacon blog, and I don't even know what Angel Hug is about." And they said, "I heard, start the blog, write about spiritual stuff. You're a teacher. You're going to be doing classes and people want to learn." I'm like, "Well, that sounds intriguing, but I am not a teacher. Nope." And then I heard, start the blog. I'm like, "Okay, well, where will all my clients come from?" They said, and I heard, "Don't worry about it. They will come." Kind of like Field of Dreams, just build it and they will come. Well, that's exactly what happened. I deleted my coffee and bacon, started Angel Hug, and it just took off with wings. Crazy, right? But anyway, I had that for, I think, 10 years, I think. And I recently deleted it because I felt its time was done. And I now have my blog, which is a combination of, my color career and Angel Hug, and it's from color to the cosmos.com. Go visit it. Okay. All right. Z says, you need earth to ground you. Oh, yes. I am constantly up in the higher chakras. And hold on, let me just try adding. Oh, she's already invited. Oh, like I said, Melissa was supposed to be with me here today, but she's having technical difficulties, which is unfortunate. Um, Earth to ground me. Yeah. I mean, I'm always in the higher chakras, and it gets floaty and a little bit too much. So I am constantly grounding, and it's easy to ground. Yeah, go outside and put your feet in the grass, but it's cooking, it's walking, it's doing the things that you love. It's stopping all the woo woo just for a day and, reading a book or playing with your cat or doing something silly. Just getting back to earth or going into the mountains, which I love. All right. Alexei keeps talking about religion. Aren't ascended masters come from organized religion? I don't know. Like I said, I am not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I don't talk about politics or religion, and I'm not familiar with what other religions have as organized. So I'm sorry, I can't answer your question about that. All right, Z says cancer is connected to family and history, so it's lovely that you are a medium connecting family. Yes, family is really big, with people who are Cancer zodiac. Um, and I have cards here. You know, Cartomancy. I posted about it today using my Harry Potter cards. And anyway, number 4 is my symbol for my card for home, and it comes up quite often in readings. All right, I'm still getting into mediumship. I have a lot to say about it, but let me just answer a few more questions. All right, what else? Why would a person want to have Z says, why would a person want to have a mediumship reading? Well, let me ask you this. Would you not want to speak to a person in your life that has passed? Or just yesterday, a couple days ago, somebody said to me, about 2 days ago, somebody said to me, when you do a reading, can you call in a specific person to do a reading? No, I do not do that. I do not demand anything from the spirit world. I just sit here and wait. So let's say I'm doing a reading for you. And um, let's say I'm doing a reading for you. And once I connect with you, I just sit and wait to hear from the spirit world. The person, and this goes for everybody, the person in the spirit world, um, depending on what's going on in your life, is basically who will show up. Okay. Um, for example, I don't know, something silly as I'll give you an example of a reading I did. I did a reading for somebody, and her mom came in and told me to tell the client, her daughter, tell her she's putting way too many onions in her sauce that she just made. I'm like, okay. So I said to the client, I said, oh, by the way, your mom says that when you made your sauce, you put way too many onions in. I mean, to me, that was ridiculous and random, but that's not my job. That's not my job to judge that. It's just to deliver the message. So my client started cracking up and she said, I literally made sauce last night and I think I put too many onions in, but my mom was not here to help me. So that is a perfect example of whatever is going on in your life, that person in the spirit world will show up to help you. That's what they're there for. They help you in time of need. So no, I mean, I want to hear from my brother. Maybe your brother doesn't want to talk to you right now, but maybe your mom needs to because of whatever is going on in your life. All right, see. I hope that answers your question. Really good question. All right. Alexi says some see symbols of bridges or metallic fish pendants as important in dreams or waking life. Yeah, I mean, symbols are very important in mediumship. I have as a matter of fact, right here. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about in mediumship. I have a whole book here of symbols. And I mean, there's only like a dozen or 2 dozen uh, symbols. But again, the spirit world works in symbols. And it's kind of, it's nice, but yet it makes life a little difficult. For example, let's see, uh, um, I would see a head of lettuce. And when I'm doing a reading and I see these odd s- images, I'm like, a head of lettuce? What does that mean? And I will talk to the spirit person like I'm speaking with you because they're still people. They're just in the spirit realm. So spirit would show me this image of lettuce when I'm connecting to the loved one. And I said to the spirit person, okay, how do I decipher that? What do I ask them if they had their salad today? So the spirit person was like, no, just tell them, I wish we didn't fight so much. Let us get along. I'm like, oh wow, that's cool beans. I go, so I put lettuce in my book of symbols. When I see lettuce, now I understand that the spirit world wants to um, kind of make not so much not sometimes apologies, but they fought with people, on the physical world, and they wish that they got along better. So yeah, symbols are different for everybody. I know you were talking about religion, Alexi. Like I said, I don't get into that. But as far as symbols and mediumship, very important. Okay. All right. Good questions. All right. Keep the questions coming. Again, thank you everybody for being here. Let me talk about. I talked about how as a matter of fact, I want to drop a link. Can I do that here live? Hold on one second. I have a link that I want to. How do I do this? Hold on one second, guys. I'm just going to copy something here and hopefully not get this. Okay, good. I'm going to Here we go. Paste. Ooh, did it work? No, it didn't work. I guess I can't. How silly. I wanted to paste a link in the comments section. Can I? And I can't. I have to have a chat with Substack about that. Anyway, go into my publication and read Mediumship Going Beyond the Velvet. I talk about the things that I do to prepare for mediumship reading. Guys, I put myself through the ringer. At one point, when I was on Facebook, I'm not on Facebook anymore, I asked for 25 volunteers to do readings, and I had, you know, volunteers like that. I put myself through everything, and I did readings for these people. And I said, "This is a practice reading," because I was in some kind of class at that time. "So you may get a really good reading or you may get a crappy reading because I'm testing myself." I did readings when I was hungry, when I was full, when I ate meat, when I was hungover, when I was sick, um, when I had a drink, when I was in a bad mood, when I was in a good mood, when I wore white, when I wore black. I put myself through the whole ringer. And it does vary, you know. Did I still do readings? Yes. But, you know, the better you take care of yourself, the better your readings are. So, no, it's not a good idea to do a reading hungover or sick. um, you might want to eat lighter instead of having a burger right before a reading. Have a salad. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It just depends on how you feel right before a reading. So, the better you feel, the better your readings will be. Okay. Now, this is something that I teach in my mediumship classes, but I wanted to tell you here because it's kind of unique and kind of cool. Some people want to know who I'm talking to when I'm doing a mediumship reading, and I'm like, how do I know? I'm like, well, I'm going to do this. So on a piece of paper, I drew a little stick figure, like a gingerbread person, like a little generic person standing there, and I said, okay, spirit people, pay attention. I'm going. I'm a medium, and I need you guys to do this in order for me to identify who you are. If you're a man, you're going to go on this side of my little drawing that I did. If you're a female, you need to go on this side. If you're a grandparent, you need to go up by the head. If you're um, a mom and dad, you know, you go into the middle here. If you're a child, you go into the midsection, where the reproductive areas are. Um, if you're a brother or sister, sibling, you go by the hands. And if you're a pet, you go by the feet because our pets are always by our feet. And it worked. Oh, I just got chills. And it worked like a charm. It worked like a charm. Never wrong. And it's so, the spirit world wants to work with you, as a developing medium. And, for the most part, they obey your rules and regulations. But then again, every now and then you get a feisty spirit person, and you got to put them in their place because again, they're just like people. So some have a little attitude. You know, some are shy, some are boisterous, some are nasty, some are super sweet. And but if you're thinking about being medium and doing that as a career, always remember you are in charge, not the spirit person. If they are doing something that you don't like, and I've had spirit people come in, connecting with me with foul language and and just being a troublemaker and just messing up my whole readings, and I just tell them to leave. And but there was just one time when I connected with somebody's grandfather, and I'm sitting there, waiting for the connection. I'm like, I go, why is this taking so long? So I closed my eyes, and through my clairvoyant eye, I saw a little teeny tiny silhouette of an older man. I knew he was old because he was kind of humped over, and he had the shape of an old man, and he was kind of tiptoeing away. And I'm like, I opened up my eyes. I'm like, wait a minute. I go, I see you. I can see you. Please don't walk away. I know you're shy and you might be nervous. I go, but please step forward. I go, I am just here to talk with you and your loved one. I go, please don't be shy. So then his image came closer, and the reading proceeded. So, but that is a really important thing to tell the client, the sitter, the person you're doing the reading for, and I said, "I just connected with your grandfather, and he's very shy, isn't he?" And the client said, he was incredibly shy." So, little details like that when you do a reading, very important. Again, we were talking about trust issues earlier, and you just got to learn to trust what you see. Guys, anybody have any more questions? Any more questions? No? Okay. Let me just check one more thing here. Again, I apologize. I was supposed to be doing this live with Melissa, and she's not able to join for whatever reason. It might be a glitch, but that's okay. Hold on one second, guys. So hold on one second. Okay. All right. So that's spirit placement. And again, going back to the trust issue, here's another example of just trust what you see and feel and just know in a reading. I think I mentioned this before in other lives that I did, but it's just so unique. I was connecting with a young woman, and I connected with her grandmother, and all of a sudden I just saw six top hats. I'm like, "Hmm, I now know not to dismiss that, so I'm going to mention it." Like I said, I would rather say, I see six top hats. What is the significance of that?" And hear a nothing, than to say, "Oh, well, at my wedding, all the groomsmen had top hats," and be right. So that's what happened. Um, the grandmother was at her granddaughter's wedding, and her granddaughter had top hats for all the groomsmen. And you know, the grandmother showed me these six top hats just to let her granddaughter know that she was there at the wedding in spirit. So, all right. Oh, okay. I just gave myself a heart. All right. So, what else do we want to talk about? Any more questions? Questions? No. Okay. Um. Well, we're coming up on an hour, 15 minutes. So, if you guys do not have any more questions, then I'll start wrapping up. Um. Let's see. The thing about mediumship is less is more. The you don't and you have to find out for yourself. You don't have to do all the preparation, all the tools, all the spiritual music and all that stuff. The way I prepare for a mediumship reading, once I am hydrated, I had a good breakfast, and I sit right here in my office. I would just sit here, and I have a book, some basic kind of book. Put the client's name on top, and as the spirit comes in, I just write everything down. And I'm the type of medium that, uh, even though I'm highly clairvoyant, a lot of the spirit people, they talk to me, so I'll put things in quotes, like a spirit person would say. Like I said before, tell her she's putting too many onions in her sauce. Or one spirit person said to me, "You know what? Tell her I don't care if she smokes pot or not, whatever makes her happy." And I just started cracking up. I'm like, you got to love these sense of humor. As a matter of fact, I connected with this one. I can't remember. I think it was an adult. It wasn't a grandparent, but she showed me a lamp. I'm like, okay, cool lamp. What's the story behind that? And the spirit person says, then I saw the spirit person's hand, and she clinked the shade of the lamp, which was glass. I think it was stained. It was a stain. It was stained glass. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And the spirit person says, Yeah, well, tell my daughter that, I really love being, in her life, whatever, but it annoyed me to no end when her kids used to take their fingers and plink on that glass, on the glass of the lamp, and I'm like, "Wow, that is totally random, completely random," and that is the evidence that's what I'm talking about, an evidential medium. So I told that to my client, I'm like, yeah, she said your kids used to annoy the heck out of her when they used to tap the glass of that lamp. I go, "Is that true?" She's like, "Yes," and, the lamp eventually broke, and I because the kids played with it and they plinked it all the time. So anyway. All right, guys, so much more to talk about mediumship, and again, we're coming up on an hour. I like to keep these, lives an hour or less. I'm gonna try to get a hold of Melissa Leath, sorry, Leath, next time because she's supposed to be, joining me on this live. It's Morning with the Mediums, and I really would like this to be a regular thing because I wanna hear what she says about her mediumship, and it's so good to be able to find another medium on Substack, let alone to talk to one. So, if you're a medium, let me know, and we can chat and join me for Morning with the Mediums. All right, guys? All right, so thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this live. And if all goes well, I will be connecting with Melissa next Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, guys? All right. Bye bye. Thanks so much.